What I'm going to be showing today are a set of Python functions that I have written to record the mouse and keyboard inputs on your computer. And the idea behind this is, so say you have a legacy desktop application that you need to go and point and click a specific set of repeated tasks on a day-to-day basis. You can basically have Python just record those movements and then play back those movements on your keyboard and mouse, so you can automate that process. So even if that desktop application doesn't have any ability to script up, you can basically just record what you're doing manually and then automate that particular process. So my YouTube is annoying about showing me being able to leave links. So if I'm not able to leave a link, this code is posted on my GitHub, so AP Wheelie and blog code. And so if you see here, it just ends up being in blog code Python record keyboard mouse. Now if we go into that Python repo and do from record import star, there's only two functions in here that you really need to worry about. The first one is the record function. So here I'm going to do events equals record 20, and so once I hit enter, what this does is starts recording my particular keyboard input. So here I'm going to move my mouse up, left click in this folder, go in and create a new text document, name it ABC, then click out so it's done. One of the things that you can do, the argument for that record function was the total number of seconds to record. You can also record for a longer period of time and then exit out early by pressing Control and Alt, which I'll show next. But if we look at this events object, ends up being just a pandas data frame. And so you can see here it records all the different mouse movements when you press the keyboard, A, B, and C. When you do left or right click on the mouse, it also records the scroll wheel on the mouse. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete out this particular text file. And then the second function you'll be interested in is the replay. So we can just pass in this particular events data frame into the replay function. And now I'm not doing anything with my hands. It's just going to go through those same motions and replicate the same process of creating the text document, what I did before, all the same inputs and outputs. And so that's a bit of a cheeky example. It's just showing how to do the recording, and then it'll basically just do all the different left and right clicks and everything there. Now, what you can do, once you've recorded those events, you can basically dump them out to a file. So create file .csv, index equals false. And then now you have that particular set of instructions. So later on, you can write Python code to just load in that CSV file and then just replay those events and say set it up to a scheduled job task here in Windows or Chrome tab and other types of operating environments. The next example I'm going to show you is how to, I'm just going to call it EX up for Excel upload. And now it's going to record. And here I'm going to do it longer. I'm going to do it for a total of 3 minutes, but I shouldn't need that long. But here I'm going to go in and double click into this particular Excel file. Now it ends up being, you have to do sort of these things that seem minor, but to make this work, it has to be sort of like the canvas has to be done in a way so it's consistent point to point. So you can see here I've made it so this Excel file is automatically open to row 47. You can use I'm using the mouse scroll wheel now to go up and down. But an easy way, if you have to go in and do inputs in an Excel document, is go up. And so start always from A1. And now here I'm just going to go pick a cell, type in GGG, and then type in HHHH. Go up, click save. And then here if I do Control Alt, it'll stop the recording. And here you can see it, Control Alt detected, stop recording, and it recorded a total of 1,032 events. So one of the benefits of this is that even if it's not consistent day to day, but if you can predict what you need to do. So say you need to just go into an Excel document and update a date or input standard set of information in a form, you can modify this particular pandas data frame to do that. And so if we look at here, it ends up being in the detail is where it'll say, so if we do x up detail value counts, here it'll say when we inputted G or we inputted H. And so we can basically change that. So we can do x up detail equals x up detail dot replace, and here we're going to replace the G's with zeros and the H with ones. And now when we do replay x up, you'll see that it's going to go up into the particular test folder. You'll see me doing the scroll ball wheel up and downs, but eventually it'll go through and go to the A1 cell first. Then it will go to these the G and the H. Oh, here you can see it didn't scroll up, but it scrolled down because it was at a different part in the document. But because we're starting from that particular location, it's always consistently going to go to the same cells. And so you'll see that it'll do the inputs for the 000s for the G, and then the ones for the H. And so in practice, like I said, you would script up the same inputs, and you can do other things such as like export this to PDF, send an email, things like that. But you would just have those inputs altered in that particular event's data frame that you record. So it's not only doing the exact same events. If you can predict it, if you can know what you need to do day to day, you can alter that input data frame that you're piping into the function and really fully automate that process as long as it's predictable.